Hello and welcome to Coffee with Carey. Thank you for stopping by today. Today I wanted to delve into the beauty realm and talk a little bit about my favorite concealers. I have 4 of them here and they are not interchangeable. I use them very differently and you may use 1 or 2 or maybe all of them, but I wanted to share with you why I think that they do a really good job where I use them. I can't use one all over for all the jobs. It's got its own specific tasks on my face, and I thought that might be helpful to you. So if you're new here, I wanted to welcome you. I'm Carey, obviously, and this is a channel I created for women in their 50s. We tackle beauty, makeup, obviously. I'm a matchmaker here in Chicago, so there's some dating advice if you're looking for that as well. But today it's all about concealer, so if that's interesting, check this out. So number 1 is my Tarte Shape Tape. Ooh, I got that right on the very first try. And I use the shade Light Medium. And this concealer, if you've never used it, is very thick, very concentrated in color, has a huge doe foot applicator. And the crazy thing is this is the one I use in the area that takes the least amount of product. And that would be for some of the broken capillaries, or what I assume is broken capillaries based on what my mother used to tell me she was doing when she would take her eraser stick, those little hard concealer sticks, and always either do white or nude under her nose. This Tarte is nice and thick and it stays put in an area where I rub my nose often. I may blow my nose. My nose may just start randomly dripping because I have dry eye. I still have not figured out how to solve it. I can't wear contacts because of it. Maybe we can talk about that in another video. Good call on your part. So this one I make the tiniest little dot ever right underneath. I'll show you with my brush. I just dot it here and here. And then whatever's left on my brush, because I will put like just around the sides of my nose a little bit. And that is his sole purpose. Too thick to put under my eyes. I suppose if I had blemishes, I could use him. He is my skin color, but I don't. So let's move on to number 2. Number 2 would be my Maybelline Age Rewind. This comes in a couple different colors. I think light, medium, and then there's a brightening one, which works well. I've had the brightening one. This is the light. And it has a spongy, that kind of a applicator. I like it for where I use it, right? So I have very deep set eyes and I get discoloration right in here. This brightens up that area, so I pop it right here and right there. It's not the one I blend out underneath, down under my eyes, but this is great for that area if you need a little brightening in a lighter color to make that area pop. Now we'll go to number 3. Number 3 and number 4 are my everyday concealers that most people think about when they're talking about concealer. And that would be for covering dark circles under your eye, maybe coming up to cover the redness at the outer corner if you have some of that discoloration, or a little, I know some people get a little blue or purple on the outer edge. So this is my under eye concealer. It's also the one that I use in this whole area here to brighten. So I typically go with the shade that's a tiny bit lighter than my own skin tone. And my absolute favorite right now is this one from Catrice. It is liquid camouflage and it's supposed to be 12 hours and waterproof, and I think it lasts a really good long time. The color I use is honey, and that's what I applied today in this whole area. I made like 2 little dots here, 2 little dots here, and then I blended it out with my finger. I do have a little tiny makeup blender. I usually end up using my finger because it's never where I expect it to be, or it's not wet. So just blend that out with my fingers right there. And if I'm doing the full thing of brightening like they do, I will use that, or I will use my NARS. And the NARS is the Radiant Creamy Concealer. The NARS doesn't have quite the coverage that the Catrice does, but it's good on, I'm just gonna compare these real quick. Well, definitely they're 2 different colors, but what I can say is that there is more coverage in the Catrice, and it is slightly more forgiving of fine lines. No, I'm wrong. The NARS is a little bit more forgiving of fine lines. Yeah, that's true. So maybe I will start using my Catrice right where I have that darkness, because it does have more pigment and more coverage. And the NARS, perhaps in a lighter shade than what I'm using it, which is the ginger, would be great for brightening this whole area in here that I sometimes will do to give my face a little dimension. Those are my top 4. That's how I use them. If you have one that you prefer better, feel free to leave me a comment down below and let me know which one you use where and why. Don't just tell me a name, I need to know how you use it, right? So I appreciate you stopping by to see what I wanted to talk about today. I will look forward to the next time. Thank you and have a good one.